My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay, sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of, jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay, sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of, jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay, sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of, jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together, we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend.
Luminary, and you are getting it going. You know that consciously communicating both internally and externally is key to soul purpose alignment. Welcome to Golden Sessions with Doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. I'm your host, Doc.PEACE, Doctor of Pharmacy and Conscious Connections Coach. Golden Sessions is a time to connect and to celebrate creative expression. Each episode features a creative in the NFT community who is walking in their soul purpose and sharing doses of inspiration to empower our confidence and to foster global unity amongst the NFT community. Today, we have an incredible guest with us, Mr. Spottie WiFi. Spottie WiFi is a rapper who took 9 years away from the music business after being burnt out by bad managers and lousy contracts. And this year he discovered NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and realized that he could reboot his music career by building a more direct relationship with his fans that didn't require managers and streaming platforms to reach in his pockets. He's a self-made legend in the NFT space, and with over 16.9 followers on Twitter, he's here with us today. Welcome, Mr. Spottie WiFi.
Wow. You got me looking around like, who are you talking about? This person is doing a lot. Wow. Thank you. It's very kind.
You're so very welcome. Let's dive right on in. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would love to hear your story before crypto, BC.
Okay, yeah. So, like you said, I was in the music industry some years ago, almost a decade ago now. I was working full time as a writer, performer, recording artist. I was signed to a major publishing house, and I was signed to a manager, as you alluded to. And those ended up being not great deals for me. Not great business relationships. And I put out a solo album at the end of 2012, which ended up being my last real music project for the last 9 years, as you said. Um, and I was just burnt out. I had been in bands, I had been in rap groups, and had done some solo stuff. And I just said, you know what? This is like a whole lot of work and I'm struggling. Like I'm really not making ends meet here. This was like during the SoundCloud era where really, it was becoming more and more apparent that it's hard to monetize music. Like music was really a marketing tool and I was really trying to sell merchandise and t-shirts or live performances, getting bookings that were paid gigs. And none of that is very easy, so I started working a day job, doing the 9 to 5 thing. And, like you said, before I knew it, several years had gone by. Then fast forward in 2017, I started getting into crypto. Okay. I had heard of crypto, but the holiday season of 2017, I remember being at my parents' house and you're seeing on CNN and the news and everything like Bitcoin's doing crazy numbers. Everybody's getting rich except for you, like should you buy Bitcoin? Blah, 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 blah. And as if you've spent a lot of time in the space, if I was very experienced, which I wasn't, I might have thought, you know what, I probably missed this run up. It's probably a little too late for me to jump in now because everybody's jumping in now. But I wasn't experienced and I put in some money. I put in more money than I was prepared to lose. And of course, it tanked right after that, right? So I'm just sort of like, well, I don't have a lot of options. So I stuck with it. I never sold. In fact, I kept buying more and more little by little as the price was very low. Fast forward, COVID, the world is crashing around us last year. I get furloughed from my job. I end up losing my job. But this crypto that I've been accumulating is finally like in the green. It's finally like appreciated to a point where I'm in some profit.
Okay.
Fast forward again, I start hearing about NBA Top Shot. People are selling digital basketball cards. I hear about this in January on Twitter. I'm like, that's interesting. I like basketball. I used to collect cards. I start buying some. Fast forward, by February, I'm learning about these crypto punks. I'm seeing Mark Cuban talking about crypto punks are like the rookie card of NFTs. They're priceless. I said, you know what? If I believe in this blockchain thing, let me just buy one of these. I'll be at the cutting edge of art and tech. And so I bought a CryptoPunk. Um, and then I start seeing people using their CryptoPunk as their Twitter avatar and they're remaining anonymous or they're remaining pseudonymous, right? And they're sort of building these thought leadership brands, which is largely catalyzed by the fact that they have a CryptoPunk and they're regarded as a thought leader. And I said, you know what? I think there's an opportunity here to do something musically where I don't just want to be the human individual with a profile pic. I want to embody my CryptoPunk. I want to step into the life of my CryptoPunk, give them a backstory and all that. So if you're listening at home, maybe you can't see, but my CryptoPunk has spots on its face, So I said, you know what? At some point, the name Spottie WiFi came to me. I wrote a song called I'm Spottie. I put it out in April. The NFT community, they showed a lot of love and I kept making more music. And then in August, I put out my album and it sold out right away. And it's been a wild ride, but that's the truncated version of my story, basically.
Wow, what an incredible story, Spotty. I love how your music embodies who you are and it's not explicit. It's pretty inspiring, more so, which is a
Thank you.
lot different. You're welcome, which is a lot different than the music that you commonly see mainstream. And so, thank you for putting out this type of music. First of all, I do want to
Thank you.
touch on the anonymity. I don't know if I'm saying the word right, but
Yep,
the
yep.
the choice to be and stay anonymous. You kind of touched
Right.
on that a bit. But right now, what I see is an animated version of your spotty CryptoPunk.
Right.
So you kind of hinted on why you chose to go anonymous, but can you touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, for me, being like for me personally, taking 9 years off from music, like I was living a very different lifestyle a decade ago, where like I was living I was out here, much more as like living a more a typical rapper lifestyle that you might think of. Now I'm a little more older, and like to me, taking on this animated character as a persona, it gives me like a new lease on life, really, where
Mm.
Spotty is ageless. I could be doing this 20 years from now. Like Spotty will never age. Spotty, he's timeless. So to me, it's like um, it just gave me a new spark of inspiration, because my life is pretty boring. Like I record here in my home studio. I might leave the house to get some eggs and cheese or whatever I need, to stock up the pantry. But my life is not what it was 9 years ago. So for me, Spotty is like this larger than life persona, and Spotty takes some of my internal dialogue and he just like maxes it out. Like the thing about Spotty is Spotty has these spots on his face. There are 10,000 CryptoPunks, and there will only ever be 10,000, but only 124 of them have spots on their face. So what does that mean? It means he's very rare. There's only 124 with spots, but at the same time, when I bought my CryptoPunk, people were sleeping on the spots because they think it's ugly. They don't want their Twitter profile picture to have these ugly spots on their face. So to me, that's like the chip on my shoulder that I have from being burnt out and played by the music industry. And so I have this resentment where it's like I got to show people that like I had something to offer. I could have been a contender, right? Like the old movie says. And so Spotty brings that same sort of chip on his shoulder, and that's what this whole Spotty Wi-Fi lifestyle is about.
I love it. It sounds like you are embodying spotty because of the rarity, and it's reminding you that these spots, these stripes, these war battle wounds are beautiful.
Exactly. We all have spots of some kind, right? Something that the world looks at and says like, "Oh, that's ugly. You shouldn't think highly of yourself because of X, Y, and Z reason." But if we are really, if we're really in tune, we should realize like, no, that's what makes me me, and that's why it's priceless, because I'm a one of one.
Ooh, you're one of one. So Golden Sessions is actually called Golden Sessions because the foundation is all about being and embodying your gold. And gold is a powerful acronym that stands for genuine, original, loving dreamer. And I honestly do believe that you are truly gold. You're a genuine, original, loving dreamer. So this is why I brought you on the show, because I could feel this energy exuding through you. So thank you again for sharing this story of yours, BC, before crypto. I do want to touch on some of your current projects that you're working on now. You kind of alluded to the song "I Am Spotty" that you dropped back in April, and I want to kind of touch on other projects that you're in the workings of and at this moment.
So I'm Spotty was my NFT album. It really represents my genesis, right? And it's from the nucleus of the NFT world. So now my mission is I'm going to bridge the gap to the mainstream. I'm taking this NFT and this Spotty lifestyle to Billboard. And the way I'm going to do that is through collaborating with mainstream artists. So I actually have a new song that I'm going to be debuting in just a few days. It's going to be with a legendary doc.PEACE. I'm telling you, a legendary rapper from the Dirty South. a forefather of hip hop. And this is just the beginning. So you're going to see a lot more collaborative songs where I'm talking to those artists and even helping them think about how can we introduce them to the NFT space so that we're exposing each other to new audiences.
Wow, I love it. How incredible is this story of yours, where you went from struggling as a rapper, showing your face, doing the thing, doing the grind, doing what everybody else does or told you to do, right, to make it. And then you now suddenly started embodying who you really were and this character that allowed you to recreate yourself. And now you're making all these connections, you're collaborating, you're basically now an example of what we could achieve once we begin to reset and re-embody who we truly are.
Well, I haven't always thought of it that way, but I appreciate that perspective. When I sold my album, I sold 2,000 NFTs of my album for 0.03 Ethereum each, which is at the time, it was about $96 each. So that's about $192,000 in revenue. Somebody did the math. They said, if I wanted to earn that much revenue on Spotify, I would have needed 40 to 45 million spins. I have right now fewer than 10,000 spins on the whole internet. So what I'm trying to do is demonstrate that if you cut out the middlemen, the managers, the agents, the labels, the publishers, and if your goal is not to sell advertisements on Spotify, then you can do a whole lot with just a few hundred people that believe in you. And that's really my mission now, is evangelizing this and bringing this to the artists that can take my blueprint and improve upon it.
Love it. Love it. We're going to dive deeper into this after our short break, but you're listening to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM radio with our incredible guest, Spottie WiFi. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections round me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive.
And we're back. You're listening to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. I'm doc.PEACE and we're here with Spottie WiFi. Let's get back into it. Today's golden topic is how NFTs are empowering artists and disrupting the music industry. So Spottie, we were just sharing more about your current projects, how you're dropping a new song. Can you dial in and share more on that?
Yeah, so what I'm working on now is it's a collab album. This album, the working title, I want to call it Connect the Dots, but that's a working title for right now for the album.
Okay.
But basically, it's going to be all collabs. I'm going to partner with some of my favorite artists. this first artist, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you, this is just some alpha because we're putting the song out real soon. I got a song with Bun B from the legendary Underground Kings from H-Town, Houston. So I'm a big fan of the Dirty South. This guy is, the UGK is like the Eric B and Rakim of the Dirty South. Anybody that came out of the South, these guys are like the forefathers. So basically, I'm honored to have him as my first collab single.
Wow.
We're going to put that song out in the next few days, and that's going to be an NFT drop. And then I'm going to do a new song, a new collab song as an NFT every 2 to 3 months next year. Okay, so there's going to be 5 total NFT drops. If you collect one NFT from each of those 5 drops, then you'll get a vinyl record of the album of all these great collabs. So that's really what I'm working on now. It's kind of similar to what I did for my album, my debut album drop. With my debut album, you bought the NFT, and we're actually doing the sign up for that vinyl record in November, and those will ship in December. And people love that. This is a collector culture. The NFT world, we love to collect. So for music fans, it was actually my producer's idea to do vinyl. And it makes so much sense. Like, it's like the top thing you could collect, as a music fan.
Yes.
So now I'm excited to be able to offer my fans something they can add to their record collection and something they can add to their NFT collection, where it's not just spotty, but also like bridging that gap to the mainstream. So that's what I'm really excited about.
Love it. Congratulations, first of all, with this record deal. This is incredible that you're doing this. And it's not, I misspoke, it's not a record deal. It's a collaboration. And
Totally.
that's what makes it so much more vibrant. And one thing that you said was that you are currently working with your producer. I want to kind of touch on that because we had initially alluded that you had cut out some of the middleman. So I want to really touch on who is it that you cut out and why in this process. But I also want to hone in on right now on the fact that it sounds like you've created a roadmap for your project. And the term roadmap is very common in the NFT community. It means that you have given some thought, some insight on how you're going to support the community that is supporting you.
Yes. Yeah. So part of first of all, I've never really called it a roadmap. I never published a roadmap in the beginning because I wanted to I'm all about showing and proving, it's easy to talk about what you're going to do. I would rather just do it, Yeah. So in this case, for the people that believed in me enough to buy my first album, they're going to be able to mint the NFTs from this new project for free. So
wow.
This is all part of the original, bringing value to those early collectors and supporters that believed in me. So for them, I'm excited to be able to bring them like, hey, you're going to get a dope Bun B NFT, and all you got to do is mint it for free plus the cost of gas. And then there will be a public sale where we can bring in new people to the community and they can purchase. But yes, it is part of a roadmap in theory. The other thing that we're working on is we're going beyond music. Okay, so Spottie is the MC. Spottie is the rapper. He's a CryptoPunk. But I also have a DJ. My DJ is a Me-Bit. If you're familiar with Me-Bits, they're kind of they're like the little brothers of the CryptoPunks. I'll put it that way. Okay. They're another collection. I have a hype man, the world's only bored hype man, GOLDrilla. He's a bored ape. If you're familiar with the bored apes, it's another NFT collection. I have other characters in the Spottieverse. I have gutter cats, I have gutter rats, I have meta heroes, I have Ava stars. These are like all these different popular NFT collections. And Spottie and the Spottieverse, they're going to be a conduit of storytelling where all of these different worlds collide. So music is really the tip of the spear. That's how I'm kicking in the door. But really, we're going to Hollywood, doc.PEACE. We're coming out west, and we might swing through San Diego, but ultimately, we're going to Tinseltown with it.
Ooh, love it. You're speaking to my soul right now because I don't know if you know this, Spottie, but I'm a spoken word artist. And I love how you're bringing up like this, you're creating a team.
Yes.
So going back to this whole cutting out the middleman, it sounds like rather than having these people who are governing you and telling you what to do, you've created a team where now you're all collaborating and working together towards a common goal. which
Yeah,
is
and
which is really empowerment for everyone. Everyone's getting up. Everyone's, that term "wag me." We're all going to make it,
yeah,
right? Wag me or wag me.
exactly.
We're all going to make it.
That's exactly right. My team is lean and mean, doc.PEACE. My lifelong friend, my high school best friend. He's my music producer. He's also a great visual designer and a business partner. So he wears a lot of hats. And really, I'm the voice of Spottie, but Spottie WiFi is the two of us. He is the secret sauce, really, the man behind the curtain. I'm just the writer and the voice. Um, and we have another person that a good friend of mine who's been helping us as well along the way after the album drop. But we don't have a manager. We don't have a booking agent. We are the record label. We are the music publisher. And look, I'm not delusional. I know this won't work for everybody. I have a lot of advantages. I have a lot of privileges that are helping me kind of set this example. Everybody can't have money to buy a CryptoPunk, right?
Yeah.
I bought one in February because I was in a privileged position to do it. That bought me, for lack of a better word, doc.PEACE, I hate to say it, but it bought me clout with this NFT community, right? And now you have newer collections that give you clout, like the Bored Apes and things like that. Everybody won't be able to do that, but everybody can look at the blueprint of what I'm doing and they can start to see that this technology is empowering, and it innovates and evolves the relationship between the artists and the fans. Another thing that I do with my NFTs, doc.PEACE, is when you own one of my NFTs, so far, all of those NFTs are songs. And you actually get a copyright license to the song for which you own the song you have the NFT of. Okay. So what does that mean? What it means is you could take that song that you have the NFT of, you could put it on your radio show. You could put it on a podcast. You could put it on a film that you're developing, a video game, whatever, an advertisement. If you're not doing any of those things, you can license it to a third party that is doing any of those things. Okay. And so what does this mean? To me, it means music is going to be a cheat code for helping people understand the power of NFTs. We have friends that they look at these ape pictures or they look at these CryptoPunks and they make jokes about how they are going to right-click save it or they're going to screenshot it, right? Yeah. And we understand that that doesn't mean you own it. Just like going to the Louvre and taking a picture of the Mona Lisa, like millions of people do every year, does not mean you own the Mona Lisa. But those same people, doc.PEACE, those same people that make those jokes, they understand the difference between an MP3 and an artist owning their masters. They've heard Kanye ranting about his masters. They know Prince bought back his masters. They know Scooter Braun bought Taylor Swift's masters. MJ bought the Beatles masters. They know all these things. They've heard it. It's in their vernacular. So they understand that I give out MP3s for free. I want the whole world to listen to my music, and that's all an MP3 allows you to do. You can listen to it, you can share it. Good, please do that. It's a favor to me if you do that. But my NFT holders, they understand that they have a greater bundle of rights because they can actually monetize the music. And get this, doc.PEACE, if somebody owning my NFT, if they get it placed in a video game or in a TV show or something like that, they can get money off of that sync deal. They don't owe me anything. But guess what? I still own my masters. I get 100% of my performance royalties, which means if that song gets played on a show or an advertisement that hits terrestrial radio or hits broadcast television, I will get a royalty enforced by ASCAP. Or if you're on BMI would enforce that. That's your performance rights organization. A lot of this might be going over people's heads if they're not really in the music industry. But what I'm telling you is NFTs are creating a new relationship between artists and fans where they can have more sophisticated rights than just the right to press play on an MP3 and listen to the music.
Woo! Wow. This sounds like a whole new world. It sounds like a whole new world that is right here, right now.
It's limitless. Look, I think music, like I said, I think it's going to be a cheat code for people understanding all of this. The sad part is, doc.PEACE, so many mainstream artists aren't going to be able to tap into this for a while because they may be locked into some deals that prevent them from doing it, or they may have some middlemen around them that understand that they are vulnerable because their jobs are at risk thanks to this technology. But independent artists like myself, artists that have the flexibility, we're going to continue pushing the envelope and leading, through innovation.
Yes, leading through innovation, definitely. So what would be the first step that you would recommend for an independent artist to take to follow in your footsteps, use you as an inspiration, not embody themselves, not copy exactly what you're doing, but embody themselves, but use you as inspiration? What would be the very first step that you would recommend for them to take?
The first thing I would do is I would get on Twitter. I would start following. I would go to my Twitter. That's a shameless plug.
Mhm.
And I would follow everybody I'm following. I'm following about 2,000 people. I would follow all of them. You will soak up a lot of knowledge by following who I'm following. I would go into Twitter Spaces, which are like audio chat rooms, and I would just listen. I would listen and absorb knowledge through osmosis. What I would not do, doc.PEACE, I would not say I'm going to list and sell an NFT tomorrow. That's where a lot of people make the mistake. The NFT community is very cynical, skeptical, and discerning. They want to know that you're in it for the long haul and not for a cash grab. Like I said, I bought my CryptoPunk in February. My album wasn't available for sale until August. That means I did 6 months of learning and really investing in the community. So that's my biggest tip. The other thing I would say, this is very tactical, but when you get ready to sell an NFT, the best advice I got, a friend told me, however many you're thinking of minting or selling, sell fewer. And however much you are thinking of selling it for, sell it for less. That is the best kept secret. If you set the price low, you are rewarding your early collectors by giving them a good price, and you want them to feel comfortable and like they could sell for a profit at any point if they needed to. Where people get in trouble is when they try to charge too much or they try to sell too many. And a lot of times either they won't sell, or the people that do buy them, they're going to end up buying them at a price, and then the price is going to fall later, and you're going to have a really hard time keeping a positive vibe and positive energy amongst your collectors. That is what worked for me, and that's what I would advise. And also, if you can package a physical item like a vinyl record, yes, it's a whole lot more work, I promise you, but it's what 99.99% of these NFT collections are not doing. And it will really galvanize the appreciation and the support of your collectors when they know they're getting something that they can share with their friends that aren't into NFTs.
Yes, so good, so good. So the first thing you recommend really is to take the time to start community, to form your community. When you do your NFT drop, put it at a lower price point and a smaller collection. Yes. To increase the rarity and the accessibility. And lastly, I forget the last one.
Well, utility.
Utility.
It could be a physical item, or it could be like intellectual property.
Yes,
I did both, and I recommend that.
Unlockable content. Exactly. Okay, wonderful. So how can we connect with you further, Spottie?
So Twitter is the best place. I spend way too much time on Twitter, but I love connecting with people there. It's at Spottie WiFi, Spottie SPOTTIE. And then in the link in the bio of my Twitter, I have a link to my Discord as well. And that's a great place. I'm always on Twitter and Discord. You'll always find me there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, definitely follow Spottie WiFi. Thank you so much again for joining us today, Spottie.
My pleasure, doc.PEACE. Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
You're so very welcome. You've shared with us so many doses of inspiration and all your insight and light. So very much appreciated as well. You're listening to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. That concludes today's session with Spottie WiFi. Thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you got that dose of inspiration that you were welcoming. And as always, reminding you that your creativity and your expertise, equals your soul purpose. It is you who ultimately chooses to consciously express and to be gold, a genuine, original, loving dreamer. I'm doc.PEACE. Shine on.
Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections drown me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive.